As I was unable to find answers in the writings of humanity, I started observing nature, and, above all, failing to know what my destiny is after death, I asked myself, where do I come from? I come from my mother's womb. This is where I experienced my first sensations. My mother is a channel through which the world flowed into me. What I am in life is first and foremost the fruit of this soil. Even more, she brings the first cell. The egg cell already contains, under a protective layer, the main constituents of the cell. At the genetic level, the contribution is equal between the male and the female, but the constituents of the cell are almost all provided by the mother. In other words, if we compare ourselves to a clay statuette, our form is given by the mother and the father, but the clay itself is maternal. We forget it as we grow up. We see our mother as one puppet among others, populating our internal theater. However, our mother is all-powerful. She is the source. Our mother was also born of a mother. Her origin goes back to all her mothers before her, linked by their umbilical cord along a tree of life which takes root in the abyss of time. Nature has a very deep form of intelligence, contained in all the cells of the living world. She evolves slowly because she thinks about everything she does, so that her delicate balance is maintained. Our present is the top of this crystal, which continues to grow harmoniously. The message of nature is not contained in any book, since she does not speak. The world is an invention of humanity. The Bible of nature is a story of life. It is a symphony written in our genes, which is replayed every time a woman carries a child in her womb. The lives that preceded us have died out, giving way to new ones. This is how nature evolves and adapts. The mortality of the life forms allows life itself to be immortal. The resemblance of human embryos to those of other species suggests that we have ancestors common to each of these species. We can then observe the path that nature followed from mother to reach our species. Our species has one particularity compared to other living beings, its exceptional creativity. Even if human beings are far from possessing the creative capacity of nature as a whole, each human being is capable of creating much more than an individual animal. In technology, art, literature, and all fields where the mind is able to take information or material and rearrange it according to its imagination. Referring to the similarity of embryos, let's look at how life evolved to reach us. What moved me first was the mother-child rapprochement across species, correlated with the presence of tenderness and attachment. Fish lay eggs and generally leave them at the mercy of the vagaries of the ocean. Some amphibians carry the eggs on their backs. Birds incubate their eggs, and among them the first signs of tenderness appear. Birds rub their necks. Domesticated birds can appreciate caresses and hugs. In mammals, the baby develops in the mother's womb and is nourished by her breast. Cats, dogs, humans can develop a deep attachment and a great tenderness. Some primates live in communities, and the little one's attachment extends to other members of his tribe who take care of him. love is carried to its highest degree in the human species. It leads us to push our limits. It is at the origin of our most beautiful creations. It makes us desire to live. This gives me the feeling that, while species have evolved towards human beings, they have detached themselves from a certain genetic determinism. Therefore, from their original mother, nature, through their individual creativity, while getting closer to the mother of their species. In other words, the more nature has developed the creative independence of her children, the more she has developed in them a tender attachment to the one who gives life. The capacity for empathy among animals must be related to attachment, because it is greater among mammals. Our species is capable of pushing this ability very far, even if certain individuals are exceptions and ignore compassion. At the same time, the mother becomes more and more vulnerable. In insects, the egg-laying female is often larger than the male. This varies among vertebrates other than mammals, but often the sizes are equivalent. Among mammals, it is common for the male to be larger and muscularly more powerful than the female. This is the case in our species. Perhaps there is a message of compassion there for our species. The one who gives us life is vulnerable. What the human mother is for man is similar to what the original mother, nature, is for humanity. All-powerful because she is the source of life, very close because we germinate in her womb, and vulnerable because she can be destroyed. The child is also vulnerable. He remains small and fragile for a long time, entirely dependent on his family. It is possible to reverse the perspective and see the impulse of nature as the quest of a caring mother for all of her children. Our creativity, our attachment, and our empathy enable us to do wonderful things for the well-being of all life forms on Earth. We can understand and help suffering beings with nervous systems like us. Nature acts on a time scale much longer than that of our individual suffering. Suffering is useful. It can warn us of danger and make us stronger. But when it is long, intense and incurable, suffering destroys the desire to live. I have long thought that this suffering was an anomaly of nature. Now I think that perhaps our existence as both creative and empathetic beings is a sign that nature is searching for a solution. Our exceptional creativity may also allow us to leave mortal Earth to spread life to other planets. Something in our life paradigms has diverted us from this benevolent path, because instead of using our abilities in symbiosis with nature, we parasitize it. I think we got lost by turning away from observing nature and by seeking truth in religious or spiritual discourses. However, these truths are influenced by the material and narcissistic interests of those who design them. This is how the law of the strongest, the source of the oppression of women, was established as a rule of life and extended to the divine pantheon. It made submission without qualms a virtue. Human beings, especially men, learn to ignore or despise their vulnerability. However, it is the fact of knowing that we are vulnerable that makes us aware of the importance of gentleness, mutual assistance, and empathy. Today, humanity treats its mother nature as it has treated its mother woman for millennia by subjugating and devouring her.